United States Institute of Peace, 23 February 2023, in the Indus Valley, India and Pakistan are engaged in dangerous play. India donated over 80% of its water to Pakistan when the Indus Treaty was inked. Pakistan has been acting as a saboteur and preventing the progress of Indian projects. India notified Pakistan on January 25 that the Indus Waters Pact must be changed. Pakistan has steadfastly declined to interact. The 1960 treaty, initially signed by India, Pakistan, and the World Bank, grants India and Pakistan ownership rights to several rivers in the Indus Basin. Analysts have frequently regarded the pact as a high point in the two countries' otherwise tense bilateral relationship. However, discontent has been increasing in both nations, and India and Pakistan have previously engaged in public spats over the treaty. Both the engineering issues at risk and the procedures the treaty outlines for resolving them are very technical. However, India's desire to construct hydropower facilities on the Indus, Jhelum, and Chenab Rivers is the issue's root. Pakistan has unrestricted access to these seas thanks to the treaty. The pact, however, restricts what India, which is upstream, can do with them. Pakistan wishes to ensure that India's dam plans comply with how it interprets the treaty's terms. As Pakistan runs out of water, tensions in the Indus Valley are increasing. Since the middle of the 2000s, the two parties have presented opposing cases regarding water use. Since coming to power in India in 2014, the Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP, has adopted a harsher public stance on water sharing with Pakistan. Even in 2019, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi declared that his country would prevent every drop of water from the Indus Waters Treaty assigned rivers Ravi, Sutlej, and Beas from streaming into Pakistan. Pakistan has 3 times referred to the treaty's dispute settlement clauses to address concerns that a proposed hydropower project on the Chenab River in Indian-administered Kashmir would give Indian engineers more control over the river's flow than the treaty permitted. Pakistan first requested the World Bank designate a neutral expert. India's plans were authorized by an impartial expert in 2007. Who claimed that his decision was consistent with the most current best practices for sediment management. Pakistan then requested the World Bank to set up an arbitration tribunal to render judgment on India's intentions to build a hydroelectric project on the Kishan-Ganga Neelam, a tributary of the Jhelum River. Indian officials are impatiently awaiting a final decision after the court's 2013 verdict did not wholly side with either country. Finally, Pakistan's opposition to the Radal project, another Indian dam on the Chenab, is the primary cause of India's present unhappiness. It is planned to start building shortly. In 2016, India wanted to refer to a neutral expert, while Pakistan requested the World Bank to designate another arbitration court. The World Bank started both processes concurrently in 2017 and appointed key people in October 2022, much to the chagrin of Indian officials. Amid their demand to change the treaty, Indian officials have now vowed to disregard any interim findings of the arbitration court. India's demand pushes the treaty into uncharted territory. It needs to be renegotiated because it is no longer relevant. Although India and Pakistan have previously argued over the treaty, this newest message from India is different. India has requested that the treaty be changed through the Permanent Indus Commission, PIC, the international authority that oversees the treaty's execution and addresses any issues. Given that neither party has previously requested changes to the treaty text through the formal process of the PIC, this raises the possibility that the Indian government's intentions go beyond rhetorical bluster. What India hopes to accomplish or intends to achieve is not entirely clear. According to reports, India explicitly requested that Pakistan renegotiate the dispute resolution terms. Spokespeople for the Indian administration asserted that Pakistan's intransigence prompted their action. But what real incentive is there for Pakistan to sit down and negotiate if India wants Pakistan to agree to new terms that benefit India when Pakistan is already making a valiant effort to stop India from helping under the present terms? Of course, Indian leaders might bet Islamabad will be intimidated into submission by their upstream edge over Pakistan and a healthy dose of aggressiveness. They might even be looking for a justification to reject the treaty and continue moving forward with upstream project development, ready to take whatever reputational costs may result. Both of these goals may turn out to be grave errors in judgment. The leaders of Pakistan are well aware of India's riparian edge, and their staunch opposition to the treaty has always been motivated by fear. When engineers in East Punjab cut off water supplies to a crucial Pakistani canal, the international conflict over the Indus Waters was first raised in 1948. Since then, Pakistani political tales have framed the conflict over the Indus as one of survival. Pakistani officials might interpret India's unilateral abrogation of the treaty as a deliberate effort to topple their nation. For any Pakistani leadership, the costs of appearing to give in to India through renegotiation would be too significant to endure. The government of Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif is already coping with a severe economic crisis, so it has very little political capital to devote to appeasing India. Therefore, it is unlikely that Pakistan will consent to make significant changes to the pact. It is also doubtful that India will try to renegotiate the treaty. The BJP will not want to take a chance on starting a possibly embarrassing conflict with its neighbour, especially at this time when India is hosting foreign leaders and journalists for a year of G20 meetings. It appears more likely that India is using the Permanent Indus Commission to vent its frustration at Pakistan and possibly the World Bank, trying to convey that it is growing impatient with both of their objections. Additionally, India may be frustrated with the World Bank's apparent unwillingness to support India's position. A flimsy geopolitical negotiating chip. More generally, India may use the demand as a negotiating tool to keep weight on Pakistan over other issues. After determining Pakistan's efforts to combat terrorism funding was insufficient, the International Financial Action Task Force, FATF, arrested Pakistan in 2018. S. Jaishankar, the Minister of Foreign Affairs for India, took credit for keeping Pakistan on the list through 2021, but the FATF delisted Pakistan in October. Delhi may see its request to amend the Indus Waters Treaty as a helpful way to maintain pressure on Pakistan, which India regards as an epicenter of terrorism, in Jaishankar's words. Taking a tough stance against Pakistan will benefit India's political leadership domestically. The BJP has already begun its general election advertising for 2024. Before the national elections that propelled the BJP back to power in 2019, the party used Modi's decision to approve an airstrike in Pakistani territory following a terrorist assault in Indian-administrated Kashmir to highlight his strongman credentials. India will have to take action or risk appearing weak if the 90-day limit it set for Pakistan to respond to it is not met. The airstrike of 2019 and Pakistan's physical retaliation appear to have reduced the threshold for violent conflict. Water security specialists have demonstrated that water wars are highly improbable shortly, including in South Asia, and rivers are not armies. However, hydro-diplomacy failure could worsen bilateral ties more broadly, potentially jeopardizing the hard-won ceasefire in Kashmir. Even India's aspirations for global leadership, which include a desire to be viewed as a loyal force, may not prevent aggressive action on the rivers. Discarding the treaty might damage India's standing abroad, but the BJP has repeatedly given domestic politics precedence over world opinion. Leaders have vigorously rebuffed criticism of changes to Jammu and Kashmir's constitutional status and new laws generally perceived as discriminatory against Muslims. Even if the treaty's text remains unchanged, New Delhi might proclaim that it is free to continue with upstream construction. In the past, the World Bank has aided in resolving disputes, but according to a source in the Indian government, New Delhi wants to bar third parties from getting involved in the water administration in the Indus Basin. This would be a violation of the treaty. One hopes New Delhi hasn't put itself in a risky situation. Pakistan has been using this tactic to keep India at bay since the beginning of her existence because it is acting like a trapped mad dog.